All right. Happy Valentine's Day, everybody, as it is February 14th, and we're sitting here at an Economic Development Authority meeting, including some members that flew in, so I'm assuming spouses aren't too happy. So anyway, I'm calling, Myron Bale, I'm calling this meeting to order. Jamie, you want to do the roll call?
EDA President Bailey.
Here.
EDA Vice President Dennis.
Here.
EDA Member Carey.
Here.
EDA Member Crone.
Here.
EDA Member Scott.
Here.
EDA Member Thiewes.
Here.
EDA Member Myers.
All right. Thanks, everybody, for being here this morning. The next item on our agenda is number 3 is approval of the minutes. 3.1 is approval of the December 13th, 2022 EDA meeting minutes. If there's no changes or corrections, I'll look for a motion to approve.
Motion to approve.
So we have a motion by EDA Vice President Dennis,
Second.
second by EDA Member Carey. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next is number 4 is business items. 4.1 is economic development update and business inquiry. And G, or Gretchen for the rest of you, is here to walk us through there. So,
Everyone
welcome.
can call me G.
All right, there
It's
you go.
just easier. That way they don't call me Rachel or Heather because they can never remember my name.
We can do that, though.
You probably will not.
I look good, too.
Well, we're going to start off with the beige book. You all do have a comprehensive report in your packet. But the report kind of shows what we have all been experiencing is that the markets are slowing a little bit. The labor markets, prices, and consumer spending all just grew modestly, but still it's trending upwards. In commercial construction, it fell slightly. The pipeline for new projects is getting smaller and smaller. Although industrial and multifamily construction is still okay right now, although we know rising interest rates are kind of slowing that a little bit as well. Single-family residential construction continues to decline. I know no one wants to know that. And commercial real estate vacancies are relatively flat, and office space is still a challenge, trying to fill it. Manufacturing activity decreased slightly during the reporting period, while agriculture and energy sector conditions remained at high levels, and farm incomes and working capital remained strong. So that was a bit of good news. Activity in the minority and women-owned business has slowed slightly since the last report, and of course, they're reporting lower profits. The food service business industry is especially hit hard. They just can't compete for anybody hardly and win that battle. So they're just going to have to try and keep up, coming up with creative ways to get workforce. And Robin Hakari is here with Washington County Workforce, so I'm sure she has a challenge every day trying to help people fill their slots. And happy to answer any questions on that.
All right. The next, anything else on this one? Or?
No.
Okay. The next item on our agenda is 4.2, which is the NorthPoint TIF. And G, you're going to walk us through this one too.
Do we have the updates? Did we miss a line?
Yeah, that's what I was wondering. Do you want to continue with the updates?
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, you're fine.
My
That's
bad.
why. I know we had it in our
For some
packet.
reason, I thought we had, for some reason today, I had brain fade. Hemingway Industrial Center, the footings and foundations work have been completed for both buildings, and the on-site construction of the wall panels will wait until spring to resume. Well, spring's almost here. Renewal by Anderson, you can see by the photos, the roof is complete and the concrete slab is beginning to be installed. GTI, also known as Leafline Labs, the addition is enclosed with trade work and the interior walls are underway. Pizza Ranch, they have the wall and the roof framing complete, and they're working on plumbing and electrical. Underground work is going on, and I spoke to the owner the other day, and he estimates that they'll probably open in June now. They're a little bit behind because of the supply chain. They expected to be open already. And R.J. Schinner, Opus Development, has applied for a preliminary plat to be called the Southeast Industrial Park 3rd Edition. That'll consist of one industrial lot and one outlot that would be located to the south of the Sioux Line Railroad, north of North Star Sheets, and east of Hamlet Park. A site plan review is for approximately 126,000 square foot office and warehouse building, and an additional 80,000 square foot expansion area for future use. And there you go. Now I'm to the right spot. Sorry about
No,
that.
that's all good. Is EDA, any questions for Gretchen at all?
And Emily is here if you have any questions about any of the projects that are ongoing.
Oh, we can just, let's see, what can we get her on? No, just joking. Yeah,
Are you gonna try and trick her?
Yeah, exactly. I did it the other day. All right, so moving on then, now we'll go to 4.2, which is NorthPoint TIF.
There we go. Alrighty, so this is the first amendment to the amended and restated contract for private development between the Cottage Grove EDA and NorthPoint. I won't go into their very long name. Just as a reminder, in December of 2021, you all approved the TIF district. And then in May, they came back to you, meaning NorthPoint, and they asked for an amendment to that. And that addressed Building 1A, which was added into the overall TIF. And then NorthPoint reported the challenges related to the construction of the roadway, and then you amended the TIF at that time. So in December, NorthPoint contacted the city administrator and said once again that some of the challenges that they were facing, they wanted to request a change to the current TIF. The leasing of their spaces in their current buildings was taking a little bit longer than they anticipated, and therefore they're back before you today to ask for a restated and amended TIF. And what it does is they're asking for the commencement date for the building of Phase 2 to begin no longer on April 30th, but on October the 31st of 2023. We note that the square footage of the building and the completion date remain unchanged for that phase. So it's just when they start as opposed to anything else. And representatives from NorthPoint are here in case you have any questions of them.
All right, EDA, any questions at this point for staff? And again, since you guys came in, do you want to come up and speak at all, or? Absolutely.
Good morning, Mayor, EDA members. Ryan Ziegel with NorthPoint Development. Just want to thank you for having us this morning and appreciate your consideration for this amendment. I think Gretchen captured it perfectly. Just pushing the commencement out, and we'll be starting building 3, the one south of the larger one right now, another 500,000 square foot building here later this year.
Okay. How did your event go? I had an opportunity to see inside the big building, which is pretty massive, by the way.
Right. No,
Looked like you had a lot of people there.
It was wonderful. Yeah, we had almost, I think, 70 people here, which is almost as much as I had at my wedding. So, ton of people. So it was a great showing. I think, the brokerage teams really got some great insight and traveled from all over. So really successful event, I would say.
Fantastic. All right. Any questions at this point? All right, thank you. Thank you for the update. All right, so ED members, you can see before you, it's a fairly simple amendment in this case. We're just moving the date for them to start the next phase to later in the year. So if anybody has no other questions, I should say, we'll need a motion to approve as stated up on the screen.
I will motion to approve the First Amendment to the amended and restated contract for private development by and between the Cottage Grove Economic Development Authority and MPBGO Cottage Grove Logistic Parks LLC.
All right, so we have a motion by ED member Thiewes. Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, I'll take ED member Scott on this one. All right, that she did the second. Any further discussion? All right, seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. All right, and next is 4.3, which is Ryan Company's extension. And Jamie is here for that.
Thank you, EDA President Bailey. So the corner we're talking about in the industrial park is the northeast corner of 100th Street and Jamaica Avenue South. Ryan Companies entered into a purchase agreement with the EDA in February of 2022. They did come back to us in August due to some land issues, bedrock close to the surface, not a lot of soil on the site. So they asked to extend their due diligence period in August of '22, which extended it to closing in March of this year. Now they've run into some economic challenges with financing and such, and so they are coming back to us again to request a second amendment to the purchase agreement, requesting an additional 6 months of time on their closing date. So due to some uncontrolled circumstances, they are now requesting a closing date of September 5th, 2023. We have talked to the representatives from Wag Farms Trust, and they are agreeable to the extension date. So we are bringing it back before the EDA for review. So, quick and easy, before you are a few recommendations, but I would be happy to stand for any questions you may have.
Okay. EDA members, any questions for Jamie on this particular item? Seems to be a little bit of a trend out there, whether it's this or housing. It's been kind of interesting to watch with the interest rates. All right, I'm not seeing any. So we do have 3 separate motions that we need to make on this particular case. So if somebody on the EDA wants to do the first motion, we'll start with that.
I can grab the first one.
All right.
Motion to adopt Resolution 2023-001, consenting to the Second Amendment to the purchase agreement between Wag Farms and the EDA, and the Second Amendment to the purchase agreement between the EDA and Ryan Companies U.S., Inc.
All right, so we have a motion by EDA member Crone. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Vice President of the EDA, Steve Dennis. Even got your first name on that one. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Who would like to take number 2?
I will.
All right.
I motion that we authorize the EDA president and the city administrator to execute the Second Amendment to the purchase agreement with Wag Farms to extend the closing date to September 5th, 2023.
All right, so we have a motion by EDA member Scott. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by EDA member Thiewes. Any further discussion? Again, seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. And number 3.
I'll move to authorize the EDA president and the city administrator to execute the Second Amendment to the purchase agreement with Ryan Companies U.S., Inc. to extend the closing date to September 5th, 2023.
All right, so we have a motion by EDA member Carey. Now do I have a second?
Second.
Second by EDA Vice President Dennis. Any further discussions on this? Again, seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Jamie. All right, and so if you kind of see, I'll just mention down the road here. So public hearings, we do not have anything this morning. Other business, we do have our EDA calendar that was sent out to everybody. EDA comments, are there any comments or requests by the EDA for staff at this time? Not seeing anything, and we didn't have any responses to previous EDA comments. And we do not have a workshop, so as you might see if you watch, well, maybe not seeing it at home, but we're at 8.1, which is years of service. And this gentleman's sitting next to me here, Mr. Thiewes, is finishing out his term, I guess is probably the best way to say it. And he has done a tremendous job over the last 7 years. Which, by the way, for those out there that are wondering, the EDA terms typically are a total of 6 years max. He's 7 because during this process, we did have COVID, as we all know. And so during COVID, they give us the opportunity to extend for an additional year. But we're now at that point where we can't extend him as much as we like to have him on the EDA, so he's been a great member. I think I'm going to read a couple things that you had put together here. I thought that was kind of cool because it's so funny. Sometimes when we've been doing some of these ribbon cuttings and that, we were at a I'll call it a ribbon cutting, but a grand reopening, if you will, of Oasis Chiropractic, and they've been here for 20 years in Cottage Grove. And we did the look back to see what has happened in Cottage Grove in 20 years. We still had stoplights in Newport and things like that, so it's amazing. And Eric had noted, he says that I joined the EDA back when Cottage Grove's Home Depot site was vacant for several years, and Rainbow Foods was really on its way out. And for some of you that don't know where that is or was, that is now where Hy-Vee is located, and of course, TJ Maxx, Home Goods, Planet Fitness, Ulta is coming in there, down in that mall there. And he was wondering why we could not fill those open commercial spaces in a prime area of town. And so he joined the EDA to learn more about how the city can get involved with redevelopment of those sites and to learn about what new companies will be coming to Cottage Grove. So like everybody else, everybody likes to know kind of what's going on in the community. And one of the best ways to do that is to get involved, obviously, because you get to see it on the front lines and work with these developers and like the people we have in the room here to bring investments into our community. And he noted that when you look back, the most proud of the thing that he has helped accomplish is the Home Depot Rainbow Foods redevelopment. And part of that was because the EDA, and boy, I remember this, the EDA was able to purchase the Home Depot site, which was later bought by Hy-Vee. There was kind of a switching thing we were doing because we had a couple, let's say, owners that were not getting along. So the city kind of swooped in and helped facilitate that change. And because of the city's involvement and the EDA involvement, that center now is fully leased. There's a couple spots that are in there, but as I just mentioned, Alta is going in the final space. Matter of fact, I think we even just saw they did their construction permit, which is Pacific Dental, and that'll mean that whole center will be completely filled. But we were able to bring Hy-Vee to town with an investment, TJ Maxx Home Goods, Planet Fitness, and as I said, the rest of the site now is full. I think there's only like an outlot that's left but that's kind of a side thing. So very excited with all that stuff that happened there. It really was the catalyst for all the changes that have happened along the 80th Street area there. So I just want to say I appreciate the fact that you've been on the EDA with us. And, now that you've been on the EDA, there's other commissions and that we can get you involved in, and at some point in time, maybe down the road, if there's another opening, you're welcome to rejoin us. And so what I'd like to do is do a presentation here, if you're okay with that, and I think they can see up on the screen there. We'll stand up. They can still, yeah, we could do that there. So I'm just going to present this plaque to Eric in appreciation of your dedicated service to the City of Cottage Grove's Economic Development Authority. And again, it's from 2016 through 2023. I guess at least now you don't have to get up on Tuesday mornings, right?
I actually enjoyed this, so it was nothing I didn't look forward to. So.
All right, there we go. All right, let's give them a round of applause. Now I spoke your words. Now let's see, do you have anything else you'd like to add to share with the rest of the EDA or the public?
Yeah, I just say I learned a lot being on the EDA. It's nice to see the great staff we have at the city. You don't get to see all the behind the scenes stuff when you're sitting at home, but when you get to come to meetings like this, you get to see the great work that the staff does and that the council is doing and the commissions. It's just so great to get involved with the city that, this is a great way to do it because there's not too many opportunities out there to get into the weeds of everything that's going on in the city. So appreciate the opportunity to be on there, and I highly recommend anybody looking to do some volunteer work to join a commission. So thank you.
Absolutely. Good segue too, because that's one of the things I know my Vice President Dennis Partner and I were just commenting. So now with you going off the EDA, we do have an opening on the EDA. And so if there is somebody that's interested and passionate about economic development or business development, whatever, we'd be more than happy to entertain that. You could just go to the city's website and fill out the application process. And then at some point in time here, hopefully in the near future, Councilmember EDA Vice President Dennis and I will be doing some interviews, and then we'll make the recommendation to the full city council for the replacement, which will be a tough replacement, but for Mr. Eric here. So again, on behalf of myself and the rest of us, thank you for your willingness to join, and frankly, thanks to everybody on here for that. Yes, EDA Vice President Dennis.
Thank you, Mayor. And Eric, it's been a real pleasure to have you here for all these years and to be part of a team that's brought a lot of success here to the community. So what I would like to do, and obviously Mayor is a representative of the council, I am too, we're very appreciative as a city council of all of our volunteers. So on behalf of everyone, thank you.
Thank you.
Awesome. All right. So that was the rest of the items on the agenda. Boy, that was pretty quick for us there this morning. And so what we'll do at this point is we'll look for a motion to adjourn, and I suppose it would only be fitting for Eric to do that for us here. So, well, would you like to make the motion?
I will motion to adjourn.
All right, so we have a motion by EDA member Thiewes. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Second by EDA member Scott. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? We are adjourned. Thank you, everybody.